Hello to all my Amiga fans and friends. I'm going to do a little bit of a instructional tutorial video here on WinUAE. If you don't know what that is an Amiga computer emulator that runs in Windows. This video is intended to give you the basics to get Amiga operating system OS3.9 installed on a nice setup under WinUAE and get you up and going as painless and as basic as it can be. Open up your favorite browser. We're going to dive right in. And whatever your favorite browser is, go to Google. Once you're in Google, Google is your friend. Type in WinUAE. Usually, depending on what browser you're using, WinUAE Amiga emulator will pop right up there. So click on that, and it is www.winuae.net. Once you're in there, once you're on that site, you can read all about WinUAE. Like I said, this is basic. We're going to get right to it. Click on the downloads area, and I want you to download whatever package is good for your system. If you're running a 32-bit system, download the installer or the zip archive. If you download the zip, you'll have to unzip it. If you're a 64-bit system, which I am running a 6-core processor, AMD, with 8 gigs of memory, I'm going to download the installer 64-bit, or I can download the zip archive 64. If you need some translation and some language translation, you can download that. These are also some plugins that you can download. You don't have to worry about downloading them now. If you want to download them and hold on to them for later, you can. Hopefully, if everybody likes this video, I will make some more videos and go into in depth what we can do with these. So, let's just go ahead. I hope you're running 64-bit. Let's go ahead and go with 64-bit. We're going to download it. It only takes just a few seconds. It's not very big, but it's very powerful. I am running Windows 10, of course, and go to wherever you downloaded your files to, wherever you download them to. If you download them to desktop, that's fine. Wherever you download your files to, go find that WinUAE download. Okay, mine are in My Documents, Downloads, and we're going to double-click on the Install WinUAE 4.0 64-bit. Click Next. It will ask you where you want to put it. If you want to change your location, that's fine. Mine is in, I let mine default C, Programs File, WinUAE. We hit Next. And we go ahead and hit Install. It doesn't take long. It's very small. Now, before we go any further, I want you to right-click on the WinUAE icon. And in the initial install, WinUAE might ask you if it's your first time installing it, WinUAE might ask you if you want to put an icon on the desktop, fine. Or if you want to put a shortcut in your start menu, stuff like that would be fine. Before we even launch WinUAE, go ahead and right-click on it, select Properties. And I want you to go to the Compatibility tab. Okay? This is important. Go to the Compatibility tab. Now, we're not going to make it compatible for whatever operating system. If you are running an older operating system, fine. We're not worried about that. What I'm worried about is make sure that the Checkmark run this program as an administrator. Now, I've installed this program before, so Windows is automatically has the cached file and registry that I've checkmarked this before. Select this. Hit Apply. You can also change settings for all users if you have multiple users on your system. I'll leave that up to you. If you know how to do all of that in Windows, you go right ahead. This is a basic. Get it up and going, tutorial on WinUAE, not on Windows. So, checkmark, run this program as administrator, hit apply. Close the window. Double click on your WinUAE. And sometimes you will have some configurations right here. Or it will start with quick mode highlighted. Now, if it's your first time installing WinUAE, WinUAE pops up and asks you where your ROMs are at. And you will point it to where your Amiga ROM images are. Every Amiga has a chip in it that is a kickstart ROM. And that kickstart ROM tells the Amiga basically the basics of the operating system to get loaded and to get going. You need those ROMs to make this happen. I'm not going to tell you where to get ROMs at. I'm just going to tell you Google is your friend. Or you can get the Amiga Forever CD from Clanato. I'm not sponsoring them or anything. They have a digital download. It can happen real quick. It's pretty cheap, pretty fair. You get all of the basic ROMs off in there that you need. You get some of the, several of the operating systems on ADF file, Amiga disk floppy images. You'll need those when working with WinUAE. If you're not familiar with those, get familiar with those. So, if you have any configurations in here, that's perfectly fine. You might have some defaults. If not, like me, I have one there that's from an old configuration. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to pretend that you have nothing in here. Okay? So let's go to Quick Start. Most of the time, WinUAE starts up with A500 as the default. Let's select A4000. Okay? It usually defaults as an 030. Let's make it an 040. Do not worry about Cyberstorm PPC. We'll do that in another video. If I get some good responses off of this one, I'll make another video and I'll really show you what you can really do with WinUAE. So, that being said, sometimes start in quick mode is checked by default. Let's make sure this is unchecked. Set this configuration. Okay, I'm going to make a set configuration here. And then I want you to go to the configuration tab, the next one down, and I want to save it as. Save it as. Whatever name you want to save it as. We're going to make this one A4K O040. And we're going to save that. Now, if you notice, it just shows up here where we saved that to. What I want you to do is I want you to hit load. Now here's something important. If you don't hit load and you hit start, you get ahead, you can get your configurations all out of whack. Make sure up here in the left hand corner that this says A4K O40 40 or whatever you name it. Tom, Dick, Harry, whatever you want. Okay. Let's go down to the hardware configurations. Now, I'm going to skip through some of these that you won't need to worry about until later on. Like I said, this is basic to get you up and going. This is not advanced or anything like that. Now, make sure the O40 CPU is going. The just-in-time emulator is going, CPU emulation. MMU, none. FPU, CPU internal, it's built in. Fast as possible. CPU speed, leave all of that alone. Don't worry about PPC. You're interested in that, I'll make another video of that. Okay? I'm pretty good at that. So get some good response off this video and I'll make one on PPC. If you've had problems with it, I don't. Okay. Make sure FPU support, direct, constant jump, no flag, and the advanced just-in-time setting is set to 16. It might be default at 4, whatever. Just push it all the way. Okay? chipset. Make sure it's AGA. Don't worry about any of that other stuff. Make sure the chipset extras is set to A4000. Collision level. Sprites and sprites versus playing field. Make sure that is on. That is so we don't get any graphics tearing on our Amiga side. Wait for the blitter. Don't worry about the video port display hardware. Keyboard's connected, yes. Advanced chipset. If for some reason yours is not checkmarked, make sure that compatibility settings is enabled. Okay? Don't worry about all this other stuff. Don't worry about that another day. We're setting up a basic system. Compatibility settings. Checkmark it. That means that the WinUAE sets everything as default for that system. We're creating a 040 4000. ROM. This is where you need to select your Kickstart ROM. Okay. Now, I keep all my Kickstart ROMs in another hard drive. My other system hard drive, my D system, I call it Banana Man. I know. Banana Man. Emulation. Go to wherever you keep your Kickstarts. Okay. Like I said, Google is your friend. You can get Kickstarts from Amiga Forever Clanato. Just do a search on that on Google. Get you what you need. You can do a digital download. Mine, I keep mine in Amiga Emulation, Amiga Kickstarts, Amiga Kickstart ROMs, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to select the flavor of Kickstart that I want, particularly for an A4000. I'm going to select a Kickstart version 3.1 because we're going to install Amiga OS3.9. You need a Kickstart 3.0 at least, preferably 3.1. So revision 4070, that's the one I'm using. You can use something different. Okay, now let's go to RAM. Let's increase this RAM a little bit. I have a nice fast PC, so I'm going to increase this to 128 megs of RAM. Whatever you feel like it, you do it. Don't worry about anything else. That's the only one we need to change. Floppy drives, I ain't got to worry about nothing in there. CDs and hard drives, this is where we're going to create a virtual hard drive later on. A hard drive file. Don't worry about that right now. Expansions, don't worry about any of this right now. RTG board, this is your graphics board for your Amiga. We need to make a slight change here. We're going to set it up to UAE 03. And we're going to increase the virtual RAM size, depending on your PC can handle all of this, okay, and how much memory you have. If you're setting this up on a standalone machine, you know, smaller Windows XP, you might not have enough memory to play with. I've got 8 gigs, so no problem. Leave these checkmarked. If they're not checkmarked, checkmark them. Match host RTG color as possible. Scale of smaller than display size. Unchecked, unchecked, unchecked. Hardware sprite emulation. Don't change anything. Okay. Hardware info just gives you a general idea of the system that we're building. Display, the host display. That means the Windows machine. I am running Windows 10, so Windows 10, this is the output of everything I'm going to be doing. I'm going to set this to full screen and 1280 by 720. You're probably wondering why 1280 by 720. My graphics card is not strong enough to handle 1920 by 1080p with the Windows 10, with the Amiga running in the background, and the video recording software. So I am running a resolution that will not make anything stutter for us. Also, I don't know about you, but I've watched a bunch of tutorials on different operating systems on YouTube, and everybody uses their native resolution, and it's teeny tiny, and you gotta squint. There's music playing in the background, or they're speaking in another language. I'm doing this as simple as possible so everybody can understand. We're going to go full screen, and we're going to go full screen. Now, you're probably asking, why full screen? Why not in the window? I'm running 1280 by 720. I don't want to use up all the real estate, so that way I can flip back and forth between the two screens. Also, I just like my Amiga to run in its native screen size, or the native screen size, by going full screen, so I can see my Amiga in full, not windowized. Okay? Don't worry about anything else. Leave it all way it is. Make sure VGA mode resolution is auto switched. Don't worry about sound. Don't worry about game ports. Don't worry about I/O ports. Don't worry about inputs. Don't worry about output. Filters. We'll get to filters when it comes to gaming. Okay. Disk swapper. Don't worry about that. Miscellaneous. We need to do something in here. We need to check mark. Use Control F11 to quit. So if you're on the Amiga screen and you want to quit, you want to shut down the Amiga, you can just go Control F11. Bam. The machine turns off. Okay? We'll be using that. Nothing else in here you need to change. I need you to go back to configuration. I need you to highlight your configuration that we created. Mine's A4K 040, and hit save. Now you're probably asking yourself, why didn't he make any hard drives or do anything? We don't need to do that right now. We need to do a test of the system that we just built. We just basically built an A4000 in software. So we need to make sure all of our settings are set and are good. So, just for giggles, let's close out WinUAE. Let's bring it back up. Let's load, always load. Make sure up here in this top hand, left hand corner. If not, WinUAE is going to default a quick start A4000 setup, and you're going to wonder what's going wrong. Let's take a little brief look at our configuration of everything that we set up. Let's take a peek. My kickstart file is still there. My RAM is still set. We're good. My display is good. My UAE card is set. You're probably wondering, why do we need to do that right now? It'll come later on. You'll see. Hardware info, looking good. Everything's looking good. Everything's where it's supposed to be, full screen, 1280. Let's give her a start. Let's start her up. Now what we're going to look for is we're looking for the Kickstart logo showing the ROM that I have loaded in, and to make sure that we get the animation of the floppy going into the disk drive. If that's good, that means our system is booting. Now it might take a second for it to come up, and there we go. We have it. All nice, pretty Checkmark, 3.1 ROM. There we go. So, we're done for right here. Now I want you to hit Control F11 on your keyboard. See how we did that? Control F11. Popped you right out, killed the emulation. We're going to bring the emulation back up. We're going to highlight our configuration, hit load. Always load that configuration, make sure this is the configuration that you're working with, because you can easily with WinUAE overwrite multiple configurations with other configurations if you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Okay, we're loading this configuration. We need to go to floppy drive. Now, we need to load Amiga OS 3.1 first. So, Google is your friend. You need to find ADF images of Amiga OS 3.1. Get those downloaded, put them somewhere on your system. There's 6 disks, a total of 6. Put them wherever you need to put them, because we're going to be using those. So I'm going to show you where I have mine, and then we're going to go from there. Now I'm going to go over here to this three little tick marks, and I'm going to go find where I have my Amiga OS 3.1 disks, my ADF files. Banana Man, in my emulation, Amiga emulation. Now I have a directory I call Amiga OS Pack. That's where I keep everything for Amiga at. And I have a folder that says Workbenches. And inside of that Workbench folder, I have Workbench 3.1. Okay. The first thing I want to do is I want to load the install. The install is a booting disk for the Amiga. So is the Workbench, but we need this because it has hard drive tools in it. So we need to double click on this. And that puts it in our DF0. This is our DF0, this is our DF1. Okay? We've got our A4K 040. We want to hit start. But before we hit start, let's make sure that this is set to turbo. Okay? Don't run it over here. It has a tendency to be a little too fast, messes up files. 100% compatible, you're going to deal with slow floppy. Let's go with turbo. We hit start. And there we go. We have an Amiga booting with an install disk. You can click on it, check it out. 2 megs of memory, 128 megs of other memory, plus the 8 that we had built into the system. So there you go. And there we go. So now what we need to do is, we've got that up going. We know our machine is up and running. So let's go ahead and kill it. Control F11. Alright. Let's bring our WinUAE back up. I want to highlight my configuration, load it, and we're good. Make sure you got whatever name of your configuration that we made right there. So let's create a hard drive. So I want you to go to CD and hard drives. Now this is where you can add a SCSI Cd-Rom drive, add a directory or archive, add a hard file, add a SCSI ID tape drive, add a real hard drive. You can actually, you can actually create a separate hard drive for your Amiga. There's options down here to add PC drives at startup, removable drives, mount to CD, all of that good stuff. We're not worried about that right now. We just need to make a hard drive. So add a hard file, which is a HDF file. It's a file that's created on the Windows, and it's just a file that pretends it's a hard drive. And it's pretty neat. So let's add a hard file. Now, we're going native, so there's no reason to make a big, huge hard drive here. We need something that is very, very compatible with the Amiga. Amiga has a tendency in the early operating systems to not like anything over 4 gigabytes. So we're setting up a base install here. Nothing fancy. We can create other hard drives later on to put software and stuff on the Amiga side. But for these intents and purposes, we just need to create a simple hard drive. So we're going to make this one 2 gigabytes. And we're going to put 2000 right here. And we're going to hit create. Don't worry about nothing else up here. It's set for to make it bootable, read and write. Hit create. We're going to give it a name. I'm going to put it on my desktop so y'all can see it. We're going to call it A4K WB. There we go. We're going to save it. See it popped up over here? Hit OK. Now it's up here. Everything's looking good. Double click on it one more time. Notice how all these numbers changed. That's fine. That's what you need to do. The next step, hit full drive, read blocks. See, it wrote all the cylinders and everything. So it makes sure that it's Amiga OS compatible. Device name DH0, it's all good. There's our hard file. Hit OK. See, it looks good. It's right there. Now, I want you to go over to configuration. I want you to highlight your configuration. Hit save. Save it. Because you don't want to do all of that work with the hard drive and then go to reboot or restart your WinUAE and your hard drive that you just did all the work is not up here. Okay? Learn how to save your configuration on a regular basis all the time. Helps out a lot. Okay. Let's make sure everything's still, a few things are a little set here. We're still good. Okay, now I want you to go back to your floppy drive menu here. Now I want you to select the little directory button here, the three dots, and go back to where you had your Workbench ADF files. Mine, I have them inside of my D drive. And I want you to select the install again. The last time we did it was to make sure we're testing, we're booting, our machine is coming up. Now we're going to start installing, we're going to build a hard drive where we're going to make a machine that's bootable as soon as you double click go. Okay, so hit install, hit start the machine, make sure this is on turbo, hit start. Now, give it a second, it's going to boot off of that floppy, and we have the install screen again. Or the install disk again, sorry. Everything's looking good. Hit install. Now, don't worry about these others right now. Go to Hard Drive Toolbox. And double click on Hard Drive Toolbox. It should pop up here and say unknown. That's fine. If it's blank, you got issues. Change drive type. You might have some other things in here in yours. Mine has from past builds. You can delete them if you want to. I'm going to delete mine. And I'm going to define, if yours pops up like this, that's perfectly fine. Drive type is SCSI. The WinUAE H-file device is SCSI compatible, and it is going to handle everything that's going on. Define new. Read configuration, hit continue, hit OK. It saw that A4K WB HDF file that I have, that we have created, that's sitting on the desktop. And whatever you named it, however you want to name it, it will pop up there. It's magic of WinUAE. Now hit OK. Now, we need to partition the drive. We need to delete. If you want to make multiple partitions, that's entirely up to you. You can make one DH0, one DF1. You can create one workbench, one work, however you want to do it. This is basic setup, so don't worry about all that. Hit delete. Highlight in there, drag the little pointer all the way to the end, make sure it's bootable, change this to H0, okay, you can select advanced options and change. For a basic setup, everything is right where it needs to be. Fast file system, international mode. If you want to select directory cache, go right ahead. We're doing a base setup here. So just leave everything default. Hit OK. Everything's good. Bootable. Make sure bootable is checked. If you mess up and forget to check that, your system will come up and it'll just be a shell window with a prompt. I mean, you can't do nothing. Make sure it says bootable. Hit OK. Save changes to drive. Don't exit. Save changes to drive. Now exit. Now, what I want you to do right here is I want you to reboot your Amiga. Not an Control F11, not an F12, Control Amiga. Or, if you got a Windows keyboard, Control Windows key. If you have one Windows key, good luck. Get you a keyboard that has two Windows keys. That way it's easily done. Or either find out what the alternate for only one Windows key keyboard to do Control Amiga. Also, somewhere in WinUAE you can set that up, but that's a whole nother thing. But I'm assuming you have two Windows keys on your keyboard. So Control Windows, or aka Control Amiga. And we're going to reboot. It's going to come up. Give it just a second, and you will see a non-DOS disk pop up right there, and it's labeled DH0. It's okay. We're going to click on that, then we're going to right click, get the menus up, and we're going to icon format. We're going to give it a volume name, Workbench, or WB in my case. You can name it Workbench if you want to spell it out, that's perfectly fine. Put a trash can, hate trash cans on Amigas. Directory cache, that's perfectly fine. If you do format, you're going to be there a while. You do quick format, this will be done real quick. Quick format. You want to format it? Yes. Format it? Yes. It's initializing the disk. There we go. There's our WB. Now, just for giggles, I want you to do one more Control Amiga or Control Windows key. Now, comes back up. We're going to install Amiga OS 3.1. We still had our install 3.1 disk mounted from a while back. Now we're going to install. So we go to the install folder. Don't worry about hard drive setup. Go to English, whatever language you have. We'll click on that. Install for real. Hit proceed. Install the release. Yes. Leave it novice. Remember, like I said, this is a base WinUAE setup. Proceed. If you want some printer drivers, go ahead. In this case, no. Keyboard, American. And insert the Amiga Workbench disk version 3.1 in any floppy drive. Okay, hit your F12. F12 will get you back to your PC desktop and show your WinUAE properties. Select on the directory icon, select on the workbench. Yours might be labeled Workbench. Mine just happens to be labeled WB31. Click on that one, that's the same thing. You can double click on it, be fine. Hit OK. As soon as your Amiga flips back over, it will automatically start installing it. And there it goes. It's installing it on the workbench. I mean the hard drive that we created. Okay, insert the Amiga local. F12. Come on back over here. Select local. And double click on it and it'll go a little quicker. Hit OK. And there it goes. Insert the extras. F12 again. Same thing. Extras. Hit OK. Amiga fonts. Fonts are going in. Storage. It's your F12 key again. Good old storage. Your storage might be spelled out storage. My particular label on my EDF files are ST for just storage. So please insert the Amiga install disk. Amiga install disk. Hit OK. Back to the Amiga side. There we go. Installation of release 3.1 is now complete. You must reboot your Amiga. Remove the install disk from the floppy drive and select proceed. We're going to F10 again. I mean F12, sorry, F12, not F10. And we're going to inject. You're just going to eject it out of there. Boom. Okay, we're going to hit proceed. And it should reboot right back. Look at how fast that was. That was pretty quick, wasn't it? Okay. Let's go ahead and quit out of here. If you want a standard Amiga OS 3.1 install, there you go. You can stop right here and you can build your system the way you want. Original 3.1. But we're going to go into, like I said in the beginning of this video, we're going to go all the way to OS 3.9. So, what I'd like for you to do now is Control F11. We're going to quit the emulation. And you notice we have our hard drive file sitting right there. I want you to double click on it again. Your WinUAE. I want you to load that configuration. And let's go down here to CD and hard drives. We want to mount a CDF S auto mount CD drive. This is WinUAE's built-in driver that will mount a CD-ROM drive for us. We don't have to create one in here. We can use the built-in. Remember, it's a base setup to get you going. No fancy configurations, no fancy advanced stuff. It's just to get you up and going. We're going to select an image. Now, I have my Amiga OS disk as a ISO image. If you do not know what that is, by all means, Google is your friend. Okay? If you have the original disk by some chance, by all means, use your real CD. My CD-ROM drive, my DVD drive, is my F drive. So, but I'm going to use an image. I'm going to select an image, and it's going to take me to the last time I used this image, which is on my D drive. Wherever you have your Amiga OS 3.9 image at, select it, and then I want you to start. There we go. We have our workbench that loaded, our OS 3.1 that's loaded, and WinUAE took care of our OS 3.9 CD. Yes, the colors are ugly. Don't worry about that right now. We're not concerned about that. So, what we need to do is create an emergency boot floppy, because the Amiga does not natively boot from CD. It will not boot from CD. And we're setting this up a base install. I know there's some shortcuts out there, and some people might say, why are you doing this? This is for anybody that is just having problems setting up WinUAE, or the first time doing it, and just want the basics. And they want simple explanations without music going in the background or trying to figure out another language. So, here we go. I want you to hit F12. And I want you to go to floppy drives. and I want you to create a disk. We need to create a floppy. WinUAE will create Amiga ADF files. So we need to create one. We're going to put this somewhere where you can use it, so you can get to it pretty easy and use it. I'm going to put mine on the desktop. And we're going to call this one eBoot 4K. How about that? You can name it however you want to. We're going to save it. Alright. Then we're going to mount it. Now go over here to your little directory, 3 dots again. And if it is still defaulted to the desktop, select it, or wherever it placed it, go find it and get it. Mine defaulted right to it. WinUAE is real good about that. And I want you to hit OK. That'll put us back on the Amiga side. And there we go. You noticed it says empty right here. You can change that if you want. Let's do an icon. Rename it. How about we call it eBoot 4K. Alright? Now, we're going to click on the Amiga OS3.9 icon. We're going to click on the OS version 3.9 directory. Click on the installation. And we get this screen. Now we're going to create an emergency disk. We need to create an emergency disk. Hit proceed. Proceed. DF0. That ADF file that we mounted is in DF0. Proceed. Now you can generate an Amiga OS3.9 emergency disk to make sure, even if your hard drive fails, the system can be installed from Cd-Rom again. This allows you to get your base system back up and going. If you need to create a new hard drive, you can just boot straight from this disk and Floppy. You don't have to go through the 3.1 setup all over again. But we're going from scratch. This is a base setup. So here we go. I'm going to proceed. And this is writing to Floppy. And it is putting everything on that floppy. It's now ready for use. So we're going to hit proceed. And it's going to kick us back out to the desktop. Now, what I want you to do right here is we need to boot off of that emergency disk. We still have it in DF0 on the WinUAE property side, on the Windows side. So we're going to hit reset, Control Amiga or Control Windows key. And that is going to boot us off of that emergency disk. Might take a second. And there we go. Okay, that looks like crap. And it will, because we have no graphics going. We have not changed anything. You can move the Amiga dock thing out of the way. If that annoys you, and that's driving you nuts, which it does me, you can go back into the WB workbench icon, and we can go to Prefs, and we can scroll over to WB pattern, and it'll have a picture set up there. We'll change that from picture to pattern. We'll save that, and that'll give us our nice gray background. Now, you might notice I've got two sitting here. Reason we have two sitting here is because the WinUAE 1 is loading up a Cd-Rom image, and the emergency disk, the Amiga's emergency disk, is loading up one too. That's perfectly fine. Leave it alone. It doesn't matter. Okay? When we're all done, you won't have to worry about that no more. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to install Amiga OS 3.9. We booted off the emergency disk. That's perfectly fine. click on OS version 3.9, click on the install. If you've got your speakers on, you will start to hear sound here in a little bit. Some of the corny little sound bites and stuff they put back in the day. You will select OS 3.9 full install over 3.0 or empty hard drive. That's all we need. Hit proceed. This program lets you install release 3.9 operating system on a hard drive. Hit proceed. And you get the little chimes. If you want to read the license agreement, go right ahead. If not, hit accept. Now, when I first saw this many years ago on a real Amiga 3000, that sound, I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Okay, we need to select what hard drive we need to install it to. DH0, WB, or whatever you named yours. If you named it Workbench, that's fine. Just select it, DH0, proceed. English, yes. You want to install some printers, this is where you want to do it. This is a basic install, no need. Keyboard, key maps, American. Make sure you have more than 10 megabytes left. I think we do. So we're going to install these backdrops and presets. Doesn't take too long. This is running off an ISO image. If you don't know what that is, Google's your friend. Doesn't take too long. I hope this video is not boring too many of y'all. Some of the more advanced users could skip right on through some of this. Now, here's where we need to make a decision. Your system was apparently started with the emergency disk. Would you like to install your Cd-Rom drivers and the drivers from your graphics system if one is available? Go without. This will take care of those double CDs. It'll make sense here in a minute. Just follow me here. Insert your boot disk into the drive. It was already in there. You're going to hit proceed. Installation of 3.9 is now complete. You must remove all the disk from the floppy drive and select proceed. F12. Eject that bad boy out of there. Going to hit OK. Going to hit proceed. And to give it just a few seconds. And there we go. Now, looks ugly, doesn't it? Looks horrible. We need to fix that. First thing we need to do is we need to get rid of these borders. So, we're going to hit backdrop. No. Then, we're going to get rid of this Amiga OS3.9 CD. Remember I was telling you about hit no for install and CD drivers? If we had done that from the emergency CD, we would have had doubles sitting there. We want to let WinUAE handle all of our CD stuff. The more stuff that's on the PC side, the less stress is on the Amiga emulation side. So, what we need to do is F12. And we need to go to the CD and hard drive and the WinUAE properties. We need to eject that CD out of there. Goodbye. You hit OK. And just for giggles, let's reboot one more time. Control Amiga or Control Window key. Takes a few seconds. Doesn't take long at all, and there we go. Okay, we still had the little border around here, but we're fixing to fix that. Alright. Move this out of the way. And we are going to right click and Windows Snapshot All. Okay, so that way it saves everything that we got. Now, we got our workbench right here, right? We're good to go. Go down here, Go to Prefs, go to Screen Mode, and let's get rid of these 4 colors. 256, look at that. Let's save that. Boom, there we go. Now, if you like your Amiga with 256 colors, that's fine. I want more. So, let's add some stuff. Workbench. Set magic workbench colors. Checkmark. Quality is best. Border size. No borders. Images in graphics memory. We do have plenty of graphics, but that will go to the Amiga's graphics memory, not the retargetable graphics. We need to put it in other memory. We got plenty of fast, so it's good. We're good there. So let's close all of that out. Cool. Let's do a quick little reboot. See what we got. See if everything we just did stuck. And give it just a second. And boom. Everything's there. So everything's looking good. Well, now we need to install some goodies. So, F12. Mount a CD image. We're going to mount the Amiga OS3.9 CD again. So go back to where you have that ISO image. There's mine. And hit OK. And there's our Amiga OS3.9. We're going to click on it. Go to the drawer that has contributions. Click on that. The first icon should be Picasso 96 install. If not, scroll around until you find it. We're going to click on that. We're going to run setup. Now, there's going to be a lot of proceedings and a lot of clicking here. Just follow me here. Do what I say. You're going to be fine. Hit proceed. First install, yeah. Intermediate, that's fine. Install for real, yep, let's go. And shareware, okay. And complex piece of software, okay, let's go. Before you go on, disable current graphics board drive. We have none, let's go. Read the documentation. If you want to read the documentation, you go right ahead. I'm going to skip that. Alright, right here we're going to have all of the graphics cards we can select. If we had selected an UAE, one of these original graphics cards, it would have loaded one of them and you would have had to use one of them. But we're going to use the WinUAE graphics. Remember I did that way back in the very beginning? This is where it comes into play. So make sure the WinUAE graphics is checked. Hit proceed. Syslibs, which is your workbench. Sysdevs monitors, hit next. Yes, hit next. Keep hitting next. Now we need to change something here. Where do you want to have the supported files installed? Not work, because we don't have a work drive. Select another location. I want to select my workbench. A drawer named Picasso 96 will be created there. I'm going to go ahead and proceed. Do you want to have the application drivers copied to the hard drive? Yes. Yes, so if you decide you want to print, you want this. Showing everything that's going to be installed, let's go. Install Picasso 96 files, yep. And creating drawer for cards and chips, yep. Yep. Proceed. Proceed. Keep proceeding. Proceed. And adjust tool types for UA graphics monitor, yes, proceed. Proceed with the copy, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Please install the application drivers from Picasso home directory for the, yep. And we're good. And one more proceed. If I said proceed one more time, I'd probably choke. Okay. Now, we need to get rid of that Amiga OS3.9 emergency disk. So dump out of there to F12. And we need to eject that. Hit OK again. And we need to do a reboot again. Control Amiga Amiga. Control Windows. Give it a second. And here we go. We're back. Move that out the way. Now, go inside your workbench. Go down to Prefs. Go to Screen Modes. And what do you know? You should have UAE graphics sitting right in here. Go down to whatever graphics mode you would like to set up. Me personally, because I'm recording, I'm going to go to 1280 by 720. It automatically pop up there and do 16 million colors. You can test. Nice little test. There we go. Looks good. And we'll save. Screen a flicker, and it's back. And there we have it. We have Amiga OS 3.9 with UAE graphics, 16 million colors on the desktop. Lots of real estate that we can build a nice Amiga with. Now, we need to go ahead and close out the system. We're going to do Control F11. We're going to shut it down. Don't worry, we're coming back. Okay. I want you to double click on your WinUAE again. Highlight your configuration. I want you to load it. And I want you to take a peek down here underneath the CD and hard drives, because we never did save that because we were working off all of those CD images. We didn't want to save that right away because we were working on the Amiga side a lot. Now, I want you to checkmark the CDFS auto mount, and I want you to add PC drives at startup. Bingo. Okay. I want you to go back to configurations. Make sure we have no floppies in here. Okay. Go back to configurations. Highlight your configuration and hit save. And then I want you to hit start. And what do you know? When it comes up here in just a few seconds, you will have all of the mounted PC drives from your Windows side of your machine. And there we go. I have my D drive, Banana Man, I have my Windows directory, and I have my Amiga Workbench directory. Now, here's where we get to install the Boing bags. These are the updates. There's 4 of them, but the first 2 are only official. Boing Bag 1, Boing Bag 2. You can find them on the internet. Google is your friend. You can download them. They're most likely going to be in LHA format. Or if you happen to find somebody that has them in ISO format, you can mount them by using F12, mounting a CD-ROM drive. But I have them in LHA format. So, we're going to go to my D drive, my Banana Man, and do a little show all files here so I can see all of the directories and everything. And I'm going to navigate to where I keep my Boing bags, which is in my emulation. And then I go to my Amiga emulation, and I have a directory that's called Boing bags. Now, when you download them, you can put them anywhere you want. You can LHA them to your workbench, or you can LHA them to your RAM, however you want to do them. I already have them unarchived to my directory. So I'm going to install them one at a time. And all you have to do is, once you unarchived them, like for example, this is the LHA. If I wanted to uninstall this one, I can tell it to put it in my RAM directory, and that's fine. And I hit start, and it goes. And if you look inside my RAM, it's right there. No big deal. Okay. But I installed them into a directory that I created, BB for Boing bags, and you can install them anywhere you want. If you want to, you can install them straight there. So it's best to install them off of some other place than where they're actually going. So just double click on the Boing Bag, hit the installation icon, and this will pop up. Now, before you go any further, we need to F12 and we need to put our Amiga OS3.9 CD back in. Okay? Because the Boing Bags are going to check for them. We can put it back off in there and hit OK, and we're good to go. Hit proceed. Hit proceed. Select your drive, your workbench that it's going to, or D80. Hit proceed. Hit proceed. Select your language if you need to. And there it goes. Installation of Boing Bag is now complete. Hit proceed. Now, you can continue on with the second one, but sometimes that causes problems. What I want you to do is F12 and eject that out of there. Hit OK. And I want you to control Amiga or control Window keys. Give it a few. And here's our workbench back with Boing Bag 1 installed. Now we're going to go back to where we put our Boing Bags. Mine is in my D drive, my Banana Man, my emulation, my Amiga emulation directory, and there is my Boing Bag 2. Go ahead and close all of that out. Close that out. And we need to mount that OS3.9 CD again. Okay. There's the CD. Let you install Boing Bag 2. Proceed with install. Proceed. Select a directory where you want to go to, your WB. We'll install 3.9. Older files be overwritten. Yep. Now, this is where it gets a little bit different. You don't have to install this if you don't want to. You can install it. This is in Boing Bag 2, there was a ROM update. It's been tested thoroughly. It may fail on some hardware configurations. If you wish to install it, that's fine. I'm not going to install it. Installation of Boing Bag is now complete. Proceed. Proceed. Now, F12. Eject that image. Hit OK. Let's go back into our Amiga side. Now I don't want you to do nothing yet. Don't reboot. Don't control Amiga. I want you to control F11. I'm going to shut it down. We just did some major changes to the Amiga side. Okay. Go ahead and load it again. Load your configuration. Alright. Make sure our PC drive, CDF, is still good to go. We're all good to go. Let's start it. Give it just a minute. And here we go. Amiga OS3.9 with Boing Bag 2. Simple, done. That is it. You can change this WB icon if you want. It's not hard to do. You can get it out of the contributions of the Amiga OS3.9 CD. This is the way I set up my OS3.9 to start with. Once you're done, and if you want to create a new one without all of the 3-1 steps, then by all means, format that drive, delete it, create a new hard drive image, and boot off of that eBoot disk, that ADF file that we created. Other than that, there you go. Have fun. Download Amiga software from anywhere. Google is your friend. Put it on one of your Windows drives. Open it up on your Amiga side. Install it. Enjoy. Have fun. There you go. Basic install of Amiga OS 3.9. You can find me on Facebook. You can also get a hold of me here on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you have any problems, need any help or anything, you can also follow me in Amiga forums on Facebook. But other than that, there you go. Congratulations. You just set up your Amiga OS 3.9. Quick, simple, basic. I do. Y'all have fun.